perhaps even the establishment of some kind of musical profession. GE 4. 21. In patriarchal times music seems to have been an integral part of life, judging from Laban's desire to give Jacob and his own daughters a musical farewell. GE 31. 27. Song and instrumental accompaniment marked the celebration of the deliverance at the Red Sea and the victorious returns from battle of Jephthah, David, and Saul. X 15. 20, 21. JG 11. 34. 1 18. 6, 7. On each of the two occasions that were involved in transporting the Ark to Jerusalem, vocalists and instrumentalists were present. 1 ch 13. 8. 15. 16. In the later years of David's life, Jehovah, through his prophets Nathan and Gad, directed the establishment of the music organization for the sanctuary. 1 ch 23. 1-5. 2 ch 29. 25, 26. The music organization begun by David was fully realized at Solomon's temple. The grandeur and magnitude of the music at the dedication of the temple can be appreciated from the fact that the trumpeters alone numbered 120. 2 ch 5. 12, 13. But as the nation grew lax in its faithfulness to Jehovah, all features of true worship suffered, including the music. However, when kings Hezekiah and Josiah instituted their reforms, as well as when the Jews returned from the Babylonian exile, efforts were made to re-establish the arrangement of music that Jehovah had indicated he desired. 2 ch 29. 25-28. 35. 15. S3 from those under their influence on the pretense of possessing supernatural powers over and beyond those of the demons. The people believed that these professional sorcerers could invoke the demons to obey, but that the demons had no power over the sorcerers. These spiritistic practices, so-called sciences, were developed in O Textoi Acute Muritra Longo, Magistrate 294 Magical Arts. GE 11. 8, 9. Today millions practice the magic of mantra, that is, the mystic formula, hymn, or spellbinding prayer of popular Hinduism. Magic practicing priests, witch doctors, medicine men, and sorcerers of all sorts are found in many places the world over, as they were among the Egyptians of the 18th century BCE in the days of Joseph. GE 41. 8, 24. Over 2 centuries after Joseph was sold into slavery, the magic-practicing priests of Egypt seemingly duplicated to an extent the first 3 miracles performed by Moses. X 7. 11, 22. 8. 7. But they were powerless when it came to producing gnats, having to admit that it was the finger of God. They were likewise helpless in preventing the plague of boils from afflicting themselves. X 8. 18, 19. 9. 11. Condemned by the Bible. The Bible is singularly different from the writings of other ancient people in that its references to uncanny powers and magical arts are all condemnatory. Nowhere does it recommend white magic to cancel spells of black magic. Rather, it urges faith, prayer, and trust in Jehovah as the protection against unseen wicked spirit forces and all their related activities, including magical influences. F6. 11-18. In the Psalms the righteous pray for deliverance from evil. Jesus taught us to pray for deliverance from the wicked one. Mount 6. 13. The Talmud and the Quran, on the other hand, give way to superstition and fear. The apocryphal book of Tobit contains absurd passages of magic working sorcery. Tobit 6. 5, 8, 9, 19. 8. 2, 3. 11. 8-15. 12. 3. See Apocrypha Tobit. The nation of Israel was, therefore, unlike its contemporaries in this respect, and in order that it might remain so, Jehovah gave his people some very explicit laws concerning those who were intimate with the occult powers. You must not preserve a sorceress alive. X 22. 18. You must not practice magic. As for a man or woman in whom there proves to be a mediumistic spirit or spirit of prediction, they should be put to death without fail. 19. 26. 20. 27. There should not be found in you a practicer of magic, or anyone who looks for omens, or a sorcerer, or one who binds others with a spell, or anyone who consults a spirit medium. 18. 10-14. Jehovah's prophet also declared that God would cut off all those who indulged in sorceries. Mic 5. 12. Certain individuals such as Saul, Jezebel, and Manasseh, who forsook Jehovah and turned to sorceries of one kind or another, are examples of the past not to be copied. 1 Sir 28. 7. 2 Chi 9. 22. 2 Ch 33. 1, 2, 6. The Christian Greek scriptures also tell of the prevalence of sorcerers throughout the Roman Empire in the days of Jesus and the apostles. On the island of Cyprus, there was such a one named Bar-Jesus, whom Paul denounced as full of every sort of fraud and every sort of villainy. Son of the devil. Act 13. 6-11. There were others, however, such as Simon of Samaria, who gave up their magic working practices and embraced Christianity. Act 8. 5, 9-13. On one occasion in Ephesus, quite a number of those who practiced magical arts brought their books together and burned them up before everybody. And they calculated together the prices of them and found them worth 50,000 pieces of silver if denarii, $37-200. Act 19. 18, 19. Writing to those in Galatia, the Apostle Paul included spiritistic occultism among the works of the flesh, warning them that those who practice such things will not inherit God's kingdom. 5. 19-21. Outside that glorious kingdom will be all those who persist in these Babylonish practices. 21. 8. 22. 15. Together with Babylon the Great, so notorious for misleading the nations by her sorceries, they will all be destroyed. 18. 23. See power, powerful works, responsible use of power. Magistrate. Under the government of Babylon, police magistrates were civil officers in the jurisdictional districts who were Otextoi Acute Miritra Longo, Nahalath, 295, whom the initial national groups were dispersed about the earth following the flood. GE 10. 1, 2, 5. 1 Ch 1. 5. 2. A name that occurs in Ezekiel's prophecy concerning the storm-like attack by Gog of the land of Magog against Jehovah's gathered people. It appears to be used by the prophet to indicate a land or region in the remotest parts of the north, out of which Gog's host comes forth, his plundering forces described as riding on horses, a great congregation, even a numerous military force employing sword and bow. S38. 2-4, 8, 9, 13-16. 39. 1-3, 6. From the time of the Jewish historian Josephus, it has been suggested that the land of Magog related to the Scythian tribes found in NE Europe and Central Asia. Jewish Antiquities, I, 123-6. One classical writers of Greek and Roman times described the Scythians as northern barbarians, rapacious and warlike, equipped with large cavalry forces, well armored, and skilled with the bow. While the name Scythian may originally have been derived from Ashkenaz, another descendant of Japheth GE 10. 2, 3, the 1959 edition of the Encyclopaedia Britannica Volume 20, p. 235 states that throughout classical literature Scythia generally meant all regions to the north and northeast of the Black Sea, and as Scythian Scots any barbarian coming from those parts. Other reference works likewise show that the term Scythian was used rather flexibly to embrace generally the nomadic tribes and of the Caucasus, the region between the Black and Caspian Seas, similar to the modern use of the term Tartar. Hence the Neuscharf Herzog Encyclopedia of Religious Knowledge comments. The name Scythians was among the ancients an elastic appellation, and so was the Hebrew Magog. Edited by S. Jackson, 1956, Volume V, p. 14. Symbolic use. The fact that the definite location of the land of Magog is left uncertain and indeterminate to us in the Bible as well as in secular history, along with the prophet's reference to the final part of the years as 38. 8, and the fact that the described invasion is not known to have taken place literally upon Israel, provide the basis for viewing the prophecy concerning Magog as relating to a future time in the biblical time of the end. Because of this, Many commentators see in it a forecast of the final attack of the world powers upon the kingdom of God, and they see the land of Magog as representing the world as hostile to God's people and kingdom. Funk and Wagnall's New Standard Bible Dictionary, 1936, p. 307. Thus, the land of Magog clearly has a symbolic significance. The fact that the term Scythion, with which Magog is usually associated, came to be used as a synonym for that which is brutal, rapacious, and warlike would logically point to a position of strong opposition to God's people. The nations of the world will find themselves in such a position when, at the instigation of the foremost opposer of God, Satan the devil, they launch a final attack on earth against true worship of God. See Gog No. 2. 3. A term used at Revelation 20. 8 in relation to events to occur at the close of the 1,000-year reign of Christ Jesus and subsequent to the loosing of Satan from the abyss. Instead of referring to a particular land or location, Gog and Magog here is used to describe those on earth who yield to the released adversary's influence and rebel against God's rule as expressed through the holy ones and the beloved city. Re 20. 3, 7-10. Magpie middle dash. One of the heads of the people who is descendant, if not he himself, attested by seal the trustworthy arrangement of Nehemiah's day. NE 9. 38. 10. 1, 14, 20. Mahalalel. See Mahalalel number 1. Mahalalel ma middle dot hala middle dot lel possibly, praise of God. 1. A descendant of Seth through Enosh and Kenan. Hence Seth's great-grandson. Mahalalel lived 895 years. GE 5. 6-17. 1 ch1. 1, 2 in Luke's genealogy of Jesus, Heotextoi acute miritra longo, Mahaname 296 Mahaname ma middle dot Naraim 2 camps. A sighting of the Jordan where Jacob, after parting from Laban, encountered the company of angels. Jacob then called the place Mahanaim. GE 32. 1, 2 The meaning of the name 2 camps may allude to the camp of God, as represented by his angels, and to the camp of Jacob. Apparently sometime later a city was built on the site. In the 15th century BCE this city was first assigned to the Gadites and then to the Levite Merites. Jos 13. 24, 26. 21. 34, 38. While David ruled from Hebron, Mahanaim served as the capital for the rival kingdom of Saul's son and successor Ishbosheth. This suggests that it was fortified and occupied a strategic position. 2 2. 8-11, 29 Evidently in this city Ishbosheth was assassinated. 2 4. 5-7 Later David, fleeing from his rebellious son Absalom, came to Gilead where he was kindly received at Mahanaim. He remained there at the request of his supporters and did not share in the battle that completely defeated Absalom's attempt to seize the throne. 2 17. 24. 18. 16. 19. 32. 1 Kai 2. 8 During the reign of David's son Solomon, Mahanaim was under the jurisdiction of the deputy Ahinadab. 1 Kai 4. 7, 14. At the Song of Solomon 6. 13 The dance of 2 camps may also be rendered the dance of Mahanaim or the Mahanaim dance. At perhaps the reference is to dancing associated with a certain festival that was held at Mahanaim. Compare JG 21. 19, 21. The exact location of Mahanaim is uncertain, but it was E of the Jordan and evidently N of the Jabbok. 2 2. 29. GE 31. 21. 32. 2, 22 Some suggest, but Mina, about 19 kilometers 12 mi N of the Jabbok and about the same distance E of the Jordan, but many feel that it is too far N of the Jabbok. Yohanan Aharoni identifies Mahanaim with Tel Dahab el-Karbi, on the end bank of the Jabbok, about 12 kilometers 7.5 mi of the Jordan. The Land of the Bible, translated and edited by A. Rainey, 1979, pages 314, 439. Mahanadan Mahamidal.Nedan Camp of Dan. a place once described as lying between Zorah and Eshtaol JG 13. 25 and another time as being located W of Kiriath Jearim. JG 18. 11, 12. Some believe that these are two different sites, since the suggested locations for Eshtaol and Zorah are a number of miles of Kiriath Jearim. In any event, the location of Mahanedin is unknown. Its name means Camp of Dan and, therefore, perhaps simply denoted a temporary settlement or a campsite, and understandably could have applied to more than one place. Maharai Maha middle dot rai from a root meaning hurry. Hasten. A mighty man of David's military forces and an Netophathite. 2 Sa 23. 8, 28. 1 Ch 11. 26, 30. He was a descendant of Zerah and was later put in charge of the division of 24,000 ministering to the king during the 10th month. 1 Ch 27. 1, 13. Mahath possibly from a root meaning terrify. 1. A Kohathite Levite and ancestor of Samuel and Heman the singer at the house of Jehovah. 1 Ch 6. 31-35. 2. One of the Kohathite Levites who aided in cleansing the temple in King Hezekiah's day. 2 Ch 29. 12, 15, 16. Evidently the same person was made a commissioner under Conaniah and Shimei in charge of the contribution in the 10th and the holy things at the temple. 2 Ch 31. 12, 13. Mahavite Maha middle.vit. A designation applied to Eliel, one of the mighty men of David's military forces. 1 Ch 11. 26, 46. The term may have been used to distinguish this person from the Eliel of 1 Chronicles 11. 47. Mahazioth Ma middle.hazi middle.uth. A Kohathite Levite and last mentioned of the 14 sons of Heman. Mahazioth became head of the 23rd service group of temple musicians as organized by David. 1 Ch 25. 4-6, 8, 9, 30. Mahashal al-Hashbaz Mahershal al-Hashbaz hurry, O spoil. He has made haste to the plunder. Or, hurrying to the spoil, he has made haste to the plunder. The name given to Azaiah's second son at Jehovah's direction. Jehovah o textoi acute miritra longo, make 297 and overthrew Samaria, removing the apostate Israelites from that city and from the rest of the domain of the northern kingdom of Israel. 2 Kai 17. 1-6. Thus, this boy born to Azaiah by his wife whom he terms the prophetess proved to be in Israel a truthful and reliable sign and miracle from Jehovah. Issa 8. 3, 18. Mala from a root meaning grow weak. Fall sick. 1. One of the daughters of Zelophehad of the tribe of Manasseh. Mala and her sisters requested their father's inheritance, since he had no sons but only 5 daughters. Moses inquired of Jehovah, who ruled that the daughters of Zelophehad should receive it. New 26. 28-33. 27. 1-11. A subsequent order of Jehovah through Moses required Mahlah and the other daughters of Zelophehad to marry within the tribe of Manasseh, to prevent the inheritance from passing to another tribe. Accordingly, Mahlah and her sisters became the wives of the sons of their father's brothers. New 36. 1-6, 10-12. This judicial decision established a precedent as to inheritance. New 36. 7-9. They later presented themselves before Eleazar the priest and Joshua, cited Jehovah's command, and were given an inheritance in the midst of the brothers of their father. Jos 17. 3, 4. 2. A descendant of Manasseh whose mother was Hamelecheth. It is not stated whether it was a son or a daughter. 1 Ch 7. 17, 18. Mali possibly from a root meaning grow weak. Fall sick. 1. Levi's grandson, a son of Merari and brother of Mushi. X 6. 16, 19. 1 Ch 6. 19, 29. 24. 26. Mali was the father of Eleazar and Kish and the family head of the Malites. New 3. 20, 33. 1 Ch 23. 21. 24. 28, 29 His descendant Sherebiah, referred to as a man of discretion from the sons of Mali, returned to Jerusalem with Ezra. Ezrate. 18. 2. A Levite, the son of Mushi, and hence the nephew of Merare's son Mali. 1 Ch 6. 47. 23. 23. 24. 26, 30. Malites of belonging to Mali. Levites who were descendants of Merare's son Mali. New 3. 17, 20, 33. 26. 58. Malon possibly from a root meaning grow weak. Falsic. Son of Elimelech and Naomi. During a famine in the days of the judges, he moved with his parents from Bethlehem in Judah to Moab. There Mahlon married the Moabitess Ruth, but he died childless. Ru 1. 1-5. 4. 10 Ruth returned to Judah with her mother-in-law and, complying with the law of Levirate marriage, married Boaz. Ru 4. 9, 10. De 25. 5, 6 The resulting family line produced David and led to Jesus Christ. Ru 4. 22. Mount 1. 5, 6, 16. Mahol from a root meaning dance. Whirl. Or, possibly from a root meaning play the flute. One whose son's wisdom, though great, was not equal to King Solomon's. 1 Chi 4. 31 Some view the designation sons of Mahol to mean an association of musicians or dancers. Compare PS 150. 4, where the same Hebrew word is rendered circle dance. Marcia Middle. is a refuge. Ancestor of Jeremiah's associate Baruch and of Seraiah the quartermaster. J 32. 12. 51. 59. Maiden. See Virgin. Marquez possibly from a root meaning of whore. A place under the jurisdiction of one of Solomon's 12 deputies. 1 Chi 4. 7, 9 Macaz is tentatively identified with Bad el-Makhazian, about 5 km 3 mi and W of Ekron. Makelot Mac Middle. He loath congregated throngs. One of Israel's wilderness encampments. New 33. 25, 26 Location, unidentified. Make the Mac Middle. Kedah. A royal Canaanite city in the Shephelah. It was in the cave of Makeda that the 5 kings who had allied themselves against the Gibeonites hid and were then temporarily trapped until their execution. Thereafter this cave became their common tomb, and the Israelite army under Joshua captured the city of Makeda and devoted it to destruction. At the time of the division of the Promised Land, Makeda was granted to the tribe of Judah. Jos 10. 5-29. 12. 7, 8, 16. 15. 20, 33, 41. The exact site of Magdalo Textoi Acute Muritra Longo, Malachi 298 quarter. For this reason Maksh is generally thought to denote a part of the central Tyropian valley, perhaps its upper portion. Malachi Mela Middle. Chi. A Hebrew prophet and Bible writer. Mal 1. 1 The scriptures furnish no information as to his ancestry and personal life. What is known about him is revealed in the book bearing his name. He is therein shown to have been a man of great zeal for the name and worship of Jehovah. Malachi, Book of. The final book of the Hebrew scriptures in modern English Bibles. In the traditional Jewish canon, it is placed last among the writings of the so-called minor prophets, but before the writings hagiographa. It constitutes a pronouncement of Jehovah regarding Israel by means of Malachi. Mal 1. 1. Circumstances in Malachi's time. At the time Malachi prophesied, a deplorable situation existed among the priests. Contrary to the law, they were accepting lame, blind, and sick animals for sacrifice on Jehovah's altar. Mal 1. 8. La 22. 19. La 15. 21 They failed to give proper direction and instruction to the people, causing many to stumble. Mal 2. 7, 8 When judging matters, they showed partiality. 2. 9. All of this had a bad effect on the Israelites in general, causing them to view Jehovah's service as being of little value. 3. 14, 15. This is apparent from the fact that the Israelites did not support the temple by paying their tithes. So far had they fallen from their devotion to Jehovah that apparently they were divorcing their wives to marry women worshipping false gods. Also, sorcery, adultery, lying, fraud, and oppression came to exist among the Israelites. 2. 11, 14-16. 3. 5, 8-10. For this reason Jehovah gave advance warning of his coming to his temple for judgment. 3. 1-6. At the same time he encouraged wrongdoers to repent, saying, "Return to me, and I will return to you." 3. 7. Time of composition. Internal evidence provides a basis for dating the completion of the Book of Malachi. It was written after the Babylonian exile, for the Israelites were under the administration of a governor. Worship was carried on at the temple, indicating that it had been rebuilt. L1. 7, 8. 2. 3, 13. 3. 8-10. This points to a period later than that of Haggai 520 BCE and Zechariah 520-518 BCE, as these prophets were active in urging the Israelites to complete the temple. As 5. 1, 2. 6. 14, 15. Israel's neglect of true worship and its failure to adhere to God's law appear to fit conditions existing when Nehemiah again arrived at Jerusalem sometime after the 32nd year of King Artaxerxes c. 443 BCE. Compare Mal 1. 6-8. 2. 7, 8, 11, 14-16. NE 13. 6-31. Therefore, like the Book of Nehemiah, the Book of Malachi may well have been committed writing after 443 BCE, harmony with other Bible books. This book is in full agreement with the rest of the scriptures. The Apostle Paul quoted from Malachi 1. 2, 3 when illustrating that God's choosing depends, not upon the one wishing, nor upon the one running, but upon God, who has mercy. Row 9. 10-16. Jehovah is identified as the Creator. Mal 2. 10. Compare PS 100. 3. Isra 43. 1. Acts 17. 24-26. And as a just, merciful, and unchangeable God who does not leave deliberate wrongdoing unpunished. Mal 2. 2, 3, 17. 3. 5-7, 17, 18. 4. 1. Compare X 34. 6, 7. La 26. 14-17. NE 9. 17. Ches 1. 17. The importance of God's name is stressed. L 1. 5, 11, 14. 4. 2. Compare to 28. 58, 59. PS 35. 27. Mic 5. 4. And encouragement is given to remember the law of Moses. Mal 4. 4. The book also directed Israel's attention to the coming of the Messiah and to the day of Jehovah. While it is pointed out that Jehovah would send forth the one called my messenger, this one would be only the forerunner of the still greater messenger of the covenant who would accompany Jehovah. Mal 3. 1. The inspired accounts of Matthew 11. 10-14. 17. 10-13, Mark 9. 11-13, and Luke 1. 16, 17, 76 combine to identify o textoi acute miritra longo, Malchisha 299 Malchilites Malchi middle.l middle.ites of belonging to Malchil. A family of Asherites that descended from Malchil. New 26. 44, 45. Malchijamal middle.Kai King is Jehovah. 1. Levite who descended from Gershom and who was an ancestor of the Levite musician Asaph. 1 ch 6. 39-43. 2. descendant of Aaron and head of the 5th of the 24 divisions of priests organized by David. 1 Ch 24. 1, 9. 3. A priest and the father of Parsha. 1 Ch 9. 12. Ne 11. 12. J 21. 1. 38. 1. 4. The son of the king into whose cistern Jeremiah was thrown. J 38. 6. In this instance the expression the son of the king made a note, not that he was an offspring of the king, but that he was closely connected with the royal household or was an official of royal descent. See Dramil no. 3. 5. An Israelite of the sons of Parosh among those accepting foreign wives, but dismissing them in Ezra's day. Ez 10. 25, 44. 6. Another Israelite of the sons of Parosh among those sending their foreign wives away. Ez 10. 25, 44. The Greek Septuagint reads Hashabia instead of Malchijah here. 7. A man of Israel of the sons of Harim who was among those sending away foreign wives and sons in Ezra's time. Ez 10. 31, 44. 8. An Israelite, the son of Harim. Along with his shub, he repaired a section of Jerusalem's wall and the tower of the Beit Ovens after the return from Babylonian exile. Ne 3. 11. He may be the same person as No. 7. 9. Son of Rechab and prince of the district of Beth Hakerem who repaired the gate of the ash heaps during Nehemiah's governorship. Ne 3. 14. 10. Member of the goldsmith guild who repaired part of Jerusalem's wall in Nehemiah's day. Ne 3. 31. 11. A priest who stood at Ezra's left hand when the copyists read the law before the Israelites in re-established Jerusalem. Ne 8. 4. 12. One of the priests, or the forefather of one, who attested by seal the trustworthy arrangement during Nehemiah's governorship. Ne 9. 38. 10. 3. 13. A priest who participated in the inauguration ceremonies for Jerusalem's wall as rebuilt under Nehemiah's supervision. Ne 12. 40-42. He may be the same person as No. 11. Malchiram Malmiddle. My king is high exalted. One of the sons of King Jeconiah Jehoiachin as a prisoner in Babylon. 1 Ch 3. 17, 18. Malchishur Malchishur. My king hears my cry for help. One of King Saul's sons. 1 Ch 14. 49. 1 Ch 8. 33. 9. 39. He was struck down in battle by the Philistines at Mount Gilboa. 1 Ch 31. 2. A pronouncement emphasizing accountability to Jehovah God when his requirements are disregarded, written by the prophet Malachi, evidently some 95 years after the first Jewish exiles returned from Babylon. Jehovah loved Israel, but they despise his name. 1-14. Jehovah loved his people just as he loved Jacob, though he hated Esau. Nevertheless, Israel's priests despise God's name, accepting lame and sick animals for sacrifice. They would not give animals like that to a human governor. Priests and people are censured for failure to keep Jehovah's ways too. 1-17. The priests have departed from God's way, causing many to stumble in the law, and thus have ruined the covenant of Levi. There has been a marrying of foreign wives, and some have dealt treacherously with the wives of their youth by divorcing them. Israelites have wearied God by claiming that he approves of those doing, but the true Lord will judge and refine his people. 3. 1-18. Jehovah will come to the temple with the messenger of the covenant. He will refine and cleanse the Levites, and Judah's gift offering will please Jehovah. Sorcerers, adulterers, those swearing falsely, defrauders, and oppressors will experience a speedy judgment. Bring the whole tenth part into Jehovah's storehouse, and thus receive a flood of blessings. A book of remembrance will be written for those fearing Jehovah. O text to acute miritra longo. Malchus 300. 1 Ch 10. 2. And his corpse along with those of his brothers Jonathan and Abinadab, and that of his father Saul, was fastened by the Philistines on the wall of Bethshan. However, valiant men of Israel retrieved the bodies, burned them in Jabesh, and buried their bones there. 1 Ch 31. 8-13. Malchus from Ahab. Root meaning king. The high priest's slave who accompanied Judas Iscariot and the crowd to Gethsemane, where Christ was arrested. Peter struck off Malchus' right ear with the sword. Joe 18. 10. Mount 26. 51. Mr. 14. 47, but Jesus miraculously healed it. Luke 22. 50, 51. Another slave of the high priest Caiaphas, a relative of Malchus, later recognized Peter, and this led to the apostles' third denial of Christ. Joe 18. 26, 27. Malediction. Literally, a speaking ill, or evil, against someone, and hence, the opposite of a benediction, or a blessing. The Hebrew word kelamidal.la basically refers to such a malediction and is regularly contrasted with blessing in numerous texts. GE 27. 12, 13. 11. 26-29. Zek 8. 13. It is derived from the root verb kamidal.lal, which literally means be light. But, when used in a figurative sense, means call down evil upon, treat with contempt. X 18. 22. The 20. 9. 2 19. 43. This is the word David used when he told Michal he would make himself even more lightly esteemed than what she had accused him of doing. 2 6. 20-22. Jehovah God used it after the flood in saying that he would never again call down evil upon the ground on man's account. G 8. 21. Purpose of divine maledictions. One purpose of divine maledictions is to make clear who are and who are not God's approved servants, since the maledictions manifest God's disapproval, even as his blessings manifest his approval. So, in promising Abraham his blessing, Jehovah also stated that him that calls down evil, a participial form of kamidal.lal, upon you I shall curse. GE 12. 3. When the object of the malediction is thus left anonymous, the malediction also serves as a warning guide and a protection for those who wish to gain or attain God's favor. The Mosaic law specified numerous blessings and maledictions, all of which would result from the application of the laws, statutes and ordinances. De 28. 1, 2, 15. Prior to entry into the Promised Land, Moses emphasized the fact that the nation, as individuals and as a collective group, must choose between the blessing and the malediction, and that this they would do by either obedience or disobedience. De 30. 19, 20. Joshua, in essence, repeated this protective exhortation and warning within the Promised Land. Compare Joes 8. 32-35. 24. 14, 15. Individuals could, therefore, endeavor to avoid coming under the announced maledictions. The malediction also certifies that there can be no trifling with or despising of God's principles and announced purposes. High priest Eli became the object of a specific malediction because of weakly allowing his sons to go unrebuked, even though they were calling down evil upon God. 1 3. 13. Jehovah told him the rule that those honoring me I shall honor, and those despising me will be of little account, from the root form kalaral. 1 2. 30. Just recompense for wrongdoing thus accompanies God's malediction. This may be immediate, as in the case of the jeering delinquents upon whom Elisha called down evil in the name of Jehovah 2 Kai 2. 24, or it may be reserved for a later time, as when God informed King Josiah concerning the calamity due to come on Judah. 2 Kai 22. 19, 20. Jehovah warned the nation of Israel that violation of his laws would bring inescapable difficulties, saying, all these maledictions will certainly come upon you and pursue you and overtake you until you have been annihilated, because you did not listen to the voice of Jehovah your God by keeping his commandments and his statutes that he commanded you. De 28. 45. Although he foretold their desolation and exile in Otextoi acute Muritra longo, Menluch 301 ing the sacrifice, God figuratively nailed the law to the stake, and the curse accompanying that law was legally removed. Col 2. 14. Because Jesus' body was viewed as being a malediction, and also to fulfill the law's requirement so that the Sabbath might not be profaned, the Jews were anxious that Jesus' corpse and those of the malefactors be removed from their stakes before the day ended. De 21. 23. Joe 19. 31. What determines the effectiveness of a malediction? While individuals may pronounce maledictions, their validity is entirely dependent on God, His principles, and His purposes. It was in vain that Goliath called down evil upon David by his false gods. 1-17. 43 Jehovah changed Balaam's proposed malediction into a blessing. 23. 4-5. Jos 24. 9-10 Because David recognized that only Jehovah can make a malediction effective, he rejected Abishai's angry request to be allowed to go and take off the head of Shimei, who was abusively calling down evil on David. David said, "Let him alone that he may call down evil, for Jehovah has said so to him. Perhaps Jehovah will see with his eye, and Jehovah will actually restore to me goodness instead of his malediction this day." 2-16. 5-12. Compare PS 109. 17, 18, 28. God's word specifically condemns the calling down of evil on one's parents. X 21. 17. The 20. 9. PR 20. 20, on God. X 22. 28. La 24. 11, 14, 15, 23, are on the King. EC 10. 20, and it exposes those who bless with their mouths, while inside themselves they call down evil. PS 62. 4. As God's spokesman, Christ Jesus while on earth, in effect, pronounced maledictions on the religious guides and Pharisees for their willful opposition to God's purpose. Mount 23. 13-33 The Apostle Peter evidently called down evil upon Ananias and Sapphira for playing false to God, resulting in their immediate death. Act 5. 1-11 The Apostle Paul did somewhat similarly with the false prophet Elymas, the sorcerer, whom he called a son of the devil and an enemy of everything righteous, and who, thereafter, became temporarily blind. Act 13. 6-12 These actions had a salutary effect on those witnessing them. Such apostolic powers, however, did not give authority, or license, to others to pronounce maledictions. James warns against Christians improperly using the tongue for cursing man. Jos 3. 9-12. Compare PS 109. 17, 18 with Col 3. 8-10. Whereas history records that in post-apostolic times and down through the centuries religious organizations have published many anathemas and interdicts against individuals, cities, and nations, it also shows that the agent employed to make such malediction effective has invariably been, not the power of God, but the earthly power of a church or of the secular state. In contrast, at Psalm 37, 3-9, 22 we are counseled to wait on Jehovah, since those being blessed by him will themselves possess the earth, but those upon whom evil is called by him will be cut off. Such cutting off is included in the malediction Jesus pronounces on the cursed goat class of his prophetic parable at Matthew 25. 31-46. In connection with the new heavens and a new earth, evil is also prophesied to be called down on sinners. Isa 65. 17, 20. Say curse. Melothi mal middle dot lothi from a root meaning make signs. Utter. A Kohathite Levite and one of the 14 sons of the singer Heman. 1 Ch 25. 4-5 The family served as musicians under the direction of their father Heman. When David organized the divisions of the Levites to serve in turns at the house of Jehovah, the 19th lot fell to Melothi, who assumed the headship of that division of 12 musicians. 1 Ch 25. 6-26. Mallo's Heb. O middle dot Roth or O middle dot Roth. The dwarf Mallo O textoi acute miritra longo, Malachi 302-4. An Israelite of the sons of Harim among those who had taken foreign wives, but who dismissed them in Ezra's time. Ez 10. 31, 32, 44. 5. One of the priests, or a forefather of one, attesting by seal the trustworthy arrangement made in Nehemiah's day. Ne 9. 38. 10. 4. 6. An Israelite, one of the heads of the people, who is descendant, if not he himself, attested the trustworthy arrangement made in the time of Nehemiah. Ne 9. 38. 10. 1, 14, 27. Malachi Malu Middle. A priestly family whose representative served in the days of High Priest Joachim, and in the days of Ezra and Governor Nehemiah.